Alright guys, welcome to the 10th episode of my Java tutorial, and in this one we're going to talk about polymorphism, inheritance and abstract classes, so knocking it up a gear a little bit I think. So in the last couple episodes we've been talking about classes, and now we're going to go into a little bit more detail with classes and show them more ways that they can be used. So we have this human class here, and having a human class is great, but what if I want to have, for example, a student class? Well, a student is a type of human. They're going to share all of these attributes. A human has a name, age, height, but so does a student. But a student also has more things like a student ID and a school and things like that. So we're going to talk about polymorphism, which means many of the same thing, many forms, which sort of is a weird way of putting it, but it's the same thing as inheritance. So we've got this human class here, and we want our student class to inherit properties from it. So we're going to create a new class and call it student. Get rid of all that, we don't need any of that. Let's say we want it to inherit all of these properties from human. Well, we can write extends human. That means now that when we create a student, it's going to have all of these. It by default has these things. We don't even need to write these in, but we do need to create a constructor including all of these things. So we need to create a constructor called student. We don't necessarily need to include that. Actually, no, we don't include that at all. We use something called super. Super name, age, height. What the hell does super do? Well, it is a method that says, well, what is the class above this? In other words, what is this superclass? The class that we've extended from. It was human. And well, let's make sure that these attributes, name, age, and height, get set into the constructor. So instead of doing this.name, this.age, this.height, we do super name, age, and height. But it's a student, so we want to have some extra things as well. So we want to have a student ID. So let's say string student ID. And we want to set this as well. We want private string student ID, and we want to set this in the constructor as well. So we want to do this dot student ID, this student ID. Now we basically copied a lot of code from here automatically into here, so it doesn't actually matter. Right. So now what? Now we could say, oh well, student1 equals new student, and let's call it, what's a good student name? I don't know, Tim. Age, 18. How tall is Tim? He's about 1.75. Alright. Oh, but it's going to give us an error because a student has one extra attribute. It has a student ID, doesn't it? What's Tim's student ID? It is ABC123. Simple as do re mi. Alright. Now, just like human, we can do the same thing with student. We can even use the same methods on student as we could on human. So instead of set height, we could do student1.setHeight, student1.setAge. We can even do oh, we can't do that because we made that static, didn't we? So let's get rid of that, but that would have worked as well. And we can then check this sort of stuff. We can do system.out.println student1.getName We don't actually have a get name in here, but it's copied it from human. There we go, his name's Tim. If we wanted to do get student ID, we couldn't, so we have to create these separately. Public string get student ID. Return this dot student ID. And let's do a setter as well. Public void set student ID string student ID. This dot student ID equals student ID. I know it can be confusing for beginners because I'm repeating the same phrase a lot of times. Student ID, but they all mean different things each time, so you've got to be really careful about that. Right, so back here, now we can do student1 dot set student ID. If we wanted to change his student ID to ABC 1, 2, 4. Oh yeah, and then we'd have to say get student ID ABC 1, 2, 4. Yeah. So that's worked out nicely. Now, what if we never ever wanted to actually use human? We just wanted it to be a template for student to copy from. Well, we use abstract classes for that. Now I'm going to get errors in my main class because now it's saying, hold on, how are you can't make that because it's abstract. You can't make a human. It has to be a student. So let's call him a student. Let's call her a student, and now we've got to give them student IDs. ABC 101, ABC 2, and it's not being actually used, so it's not going to be happy with that, but that has worked nonetheless. Okay, so that's all for polymorphism, inheritance, and abstract classes that I'm going to talk about today. There's more stuff as well. This you can replace with super, and that's similar to doing this super thing here. But yeah, that's really the basics of polymorphism and inheritance for you.